On our morning show today, we're going to spotlight something we haven't done on the show before, and that's Travel Club at Richland Center High School. A really cool group and some good stuff to talk about. And they have an informational meeting coming up, which we'd like to speak about as well. But Advisor Craig Rogers is here. Let's talk about this. So far, how long has Travel Club existed at Richland Center High School?
I've been traveling around to a bunch of different schools, and some things that I've noticed is that they've been going to study, going abroad and checking out the cool sites over in Europe. And I'm like, why don't we have something like that? That it kind of sparked the interest in going to a Europe trip. Last year we just finished going on our first one. We went during spring break and we visited Paris and then Florence and Rome. So it was a wonderful trip, and we are going to talk to some lovely students that went on the trip, which is going to be great. And I'm going to do a little shout out for, like you said, an informational meeting in the very near future.
Awesome. Well, let's talk to the students here. Haley Rothaway and also Kieran Culver are here. We'll talk to them a little bit about their experiences. Kieran, were you a little nervous to go on this initially?
Yeah, I was kind of nervous. I think my parents were probably more nervous than I was, but I think the thing I was like kind of worried about was the language barrier, like not being able to communicate, but that really wasn't an issue. We had a great tour guide that helped us with all of those things, and you stuck with your group for the most of it, so you always had someone there to talk to.
What were you most nervous about, Haley, as you were preparing for the trip?
It was probably the traveling. I had never flown on a plane before, so the first trip was all the way to Europe. I was also traveling. I was the only one, like, my mom couldn't go with, and I was nervous about the people, but I created a really great community, and I still love and hang out with those people all the time.
How long was the plane flight?
The entire flight, from Rome home was 9 hours, but we had connecting flights on the way there. That was a total of like a full day of traveling.
That's awesome. What surprised you the most once you got there, Kieran?
I think just like the fact that these places are like actual cities with like people living there, and it's not like in pictures you see like all the clean parts, and there were so many like cool parts of that, but you also saw like more like modern looking parts, or like parts that you wouldn't really get from a picture, that you don't expect when you think of these places.
Things that you had studied, in a book, and then you see them in person. That had to be kind of cool for you, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was really cool to see like the fountains, the Eiffel Tower. That was like one of my favorite parts.
Haley, what about you? What surprised you once you got there?
I think it was mainly just how nice the people were. Like, I was expecting with the language barrier, maybe not rudeness, but something along the lines. But everybody was super nice, just even in like the metro or a restaurant. And a lot of them actually spoke English, so the language barrier wasn't that bad.
I was going to say, did you find that maybe surprising that people are able to at least communicate a bit in English?
Well, it makes sense because it's a really touristy country, but I wasn't expecting it going in, but it was a really nice surprise.
When we look at the trip, there's something that maybe surprised you, Kieran, that you weren't expecting, maybe something you weren't necessarily looking forward to?
I think something like I wasn't really looking forward to, that I still like really enjoyed, was all of the food, all of the desserts. Those, like, I hadn't considered them, but they were like one of my favorite parts, like all the pastries and the gelato, stuff like that.
Yeah, I hear you there. Haley, what about you?
Yeah, I would say the food, but also just like the traveling itself. Like, the bus trips were peaceful. It was the views, just like traveling through Italy on a bus. Like, I wasn't expecting to enjoy all the traveling and stuff, but it was really nice.
So you're looking forward to maybe going back someday?
Yes, I'm hoping to plan a trip for next spring for myself, and maybe I'll go again as a chaperone in the next Europe trip.
Did traveling with other students change your friendships in any way, Kieran?
Yeah, there were people on that trip that like I had known from school, but I never really talked to that much. And like being in a group with them on the trip going to these places with them. It was really nice to just like talk to them, get to know them, spend time with them. And I think by the end of the trip, everyone in that group knew each other, was friendly with each other, and it was really nice.
Same experience, Haley?
Yeah, I would say the bonds, just having traveled and experienced all this together, the bonds just grew, and it's kind of hard to break those.
Kieran mentioned food. What was the best thing that you ate?
So I still remember this. It was literally a life-changing experience. It was our second to last day in Rome, and I went to a bakery and they had these pastries. It's literally just a little loaf of bread with cream in it. It's not a cream puff. I think it's called like a marazzo or something. I definitely said that wrong. But it was so good. I would go back to Rome just for that pastry.
Have you gotten your mom to try and get the recipe or anything like that? Or
I tried to make it. It didn't turn out as well.
not the same. There must be a missing ingredient.
Yeah.
Best thing that you ate then, Kieran?
That's really tough because there was so much good stuff. But what's on my mind right now is we went to this little gelato store by the coast in Pisa, and I got pistachio gelato, and it was really, really good. And it was like one of my favorite parts of the trip.
Was it by the Leaning Tower then?
Well, there's the Leaning Tower, and that's a bit further inland, but there was a part of the day when we went to Pisa, we walked along the coast and kind of explored that part for a bit. And that was different because I didn't actually know it was on the sea, Pisa. I thought it was inland.
Mm-hmm. I did not know that either.
Yeah.
So what about a funny moment from the trip? Anything that you can recall? Either one of you?
So the last night that we were in Rome, we were on our bus back to the hotel, and our tour guide started just belting out songs. He would play over the speakers some, I don't remember what they were, but they were like popular.
Party in the USA.
Party in the USA. Like he's French, right? So he's singing Party in the USA, and it was amazing.
Something you didn't expect.
Yeah,
right?
not at all.
You could relive one moment, Kieran, from the trip last year. What would it be?
Honestly, I'd take like just about any of those moments. I think one part I'd like to go back to is just walking around the streets of Rome, because we had a little free time towards the end of one of those days. We got to look at the shops. We got to go and like see just like the street, the culture. And that was really relaxing. That was really scenic. And I'd love to go back to that.
What about you, Haley?
I would have to say that it would be seeing the ocean in Italy, because that was the first time I'd ever seen the ocean. And it was surreal.
Do you have a picture on your phone that you'd never delete?
I do, and it is actually right in front of the ocean. It was right on the coast, sitting on some rocks. It was gorgeous.
Nice shot. So you got the picture in your mind and the picture on your phone then.
Yep.
What about you, Kieran?
Yeah, the one in my mind right now is this really pretty photo of the Eiffel Tower at night. We were on a boat ride, and every hour or so, like on the hour, they light up the Eiffel Tower, and so it's all like sparkling and dazzling, and that's one of my favorite photos from the trip.
Oh, interesting. What about traveling internationally? Because it's not, going into it, I'm sure your parents were probably a little bit concerned. What were you nervous about? And maybe will your nerves calm then eventually?
I think one of the things I was nervous about was like, oh, it's Europe. It's a different currency. And I wasn't quite sure how that was going to go, but like, it really wasn't an issue. We were able to pay for stuff mostly with cards. We did exchange a few dollars for euros when we got there, but we didn't have to use those very much.
What were you nervous about, Haley?
I would just have to say just traveling in general, because I had never ridden on a plane before. I had never seen the ocean. I've never left the Midwest before that. So I was nervous to go without like my mom or anybody who I was really close to, and just leaving everybody behind too. Like, it's a different time zone. They're not even awake until like 3 p.m. over there. So it was a little nerve-wracking, but it all worked out, and honestly, I enjoy flying now.
Kieran, if there's a student from Richland Center, they come to you and they're like, "Oh, my parents are a little on the fence about letting me go." What would you say to parents to maybe convince them that it's a good idea?
I would tell them that there's just like so much you can learn from this trip. There's stuff you can't find out about at home, and you get to meet people, you get to spend time with people, and you get to really learn that like Europe isn't just like some strange concept. It's a real place with like real people, real stuff happening. And I think it's a trip of a lifetime, and any kid that can go should go.
What about you, Haley?
Yeah, it's just, you're never going to get that opportunity again. Like, it's amazing, and it might be scary, but the memories that you'll make, the experiences that you'll come home and you'll have stories, and it's so worth it.
How do you feel that it may have helped you grow as a person, Kieran?
I think it's hard to like put that into like concrete words, but just like traveling in general for me has always been really important, because it's important for me to see different places, to like get new ideas, to like know this is how the rest of the world is, because like things in Richland Center can get like kind of small in perspective, and I think it's important to see like other ideas from other places.
Yeah, well said. How about you, Haley?
I would say that it gave me a lot more confidence in what like I knew that I could do. Like, I wasn't traveling alone, but traveling without my parents, and just finding out that, oh, I have a great sense of direction. This is awesome. I know where I'm going. Or just feeling confident in like, I can get through this on my own.
You both would go again if you had the opportunity?
Absolutely.
Definitely, yes.
Now, Kieran, you're a senior. Are you a senior? Haley?
Yes.
You both are. Okay. What about next year, Kieran? What would you like to do after Richland Center days are done here?
Well, next year I'm attending UW-Madison, and I am majoring in English and either history or geography. I want a double major. And then after I get my bachelor's, I want to get a master's in curriculum and instruction and go on to be a high school teacher.
Awesome. Maybe still sing the national anthem once in a while, too. Right?
Well, I'll leave that to the students, I think.
What about you, Haley?
After I graduate, I'm going to Carthage College, where I'm going to major in accounting and minor in criminal justice. And then once I graduate, my plan is to become a forensic accountant, working somewhere like, not necessarily FBI, but somewhere like that.
I think you both probably learned that it's a small world. And Kieran, I think, I'm guessing traveling will be in your future plans then down the road.
Yeah, I think as much as I can. It doesn't have to be across the world even. I think just getting out, going somewhere different, exposing yourself to those new ideas, those new people, those new places is really important.
What about you, Haley?
I would agree. Just getting out there, experiencing everything, and like, I plan to travel a lot. I hope that I can go lots of places within the U.S. and outside of.
One of the things that I've been just interested in is just knowing some people that are from Europe and all over the world. They travel so much more than we do here. It's like they go on holiday quite often, it seems like, don't they? Was that kind of your experience, what you saw?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, yeah, our tour guide, and I guess he's an exception because that's what he does for a living, but he was like definitely open to like every experience. He just wanted to like live life to the fullest, see everything, do everything. And he did it all with like so much enthusiasm, and that was like really refreshing and nice to see.
Are you guys recruiting other members of the student body to be a part of Travel Club at RCHS?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're trying to get as many people as we can to come and just be able to experience a trip like that.
Learn more about it.
Yes.
Well, speaking of which, Greg, as you look at this, you got a couple of good representatives. I can see why you chose them to come to the morning show studios here. So
Absolutely. They're great ambassadors. Like I said, there's so much of the world to see. And as you heard from these lovely students here, you don't want to miss out. trip of a lifetime, great experiences that will stay with you for forever. And if you want to hear more about this, I'm going to do that quick little shout out here. And the informational meeting is going to be February 24th at 6 o'clock p.m. And it will be in room 112, which is right next to the main office. So everybody is welcome. And it's anybody that is tied to the high school or Richland Center School District in any way could go on this trip as long as they're high school age. It will be for the year of the spring break of 2028. So it's 2 years from now. That way we can budget accordingly and make it so it's more affordable for people to go,
So does the travel club raise money during that time as well to help out?
Yep. So we do concessions for sure, a lot, and that's going to help pay for the bus. That's going to pay for the bus to get us to the airport and back. But also we want to start brainstorming some fundraising ideas so then we can sponsor people or help lighten the load so more people can come.
Do you lock in a particular time when you get that trip planned? Then do you lock it in at a certain price?
Yes. And even if it does, because over the years, things get more expensive. But once it's locked in, then it's locked in for our trip. Sometimes there's some little fluctuations here and there, but it's nothing too major that's going to be noticed, I suppose.
When they're overseas in Europe or wherever, lodging wise, do they stay in hotels or they stay with?
Yep, and they stay in really nice hotels.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, for sure. So great hotels, great food, and all the travel. All of that is in the package. So you really don't have to worry about paying for anything other than if there's any extra excursions that you want to do while you're there. Or lunches you need to pay for, or snacks are going to be things that you have to pay for too. And all the stuff, of course, that you find over there, your souvenirs. Make sure you have enough space in your luggage for that.
That's a good tip.
Absolutely. But no, for the most part, everything is included in the package, and everything is top notch. Would you guys agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so the meeting is coming up on February 24th at 6 o'clock. If parents have maybe some questions or concerns in the meantime, they can reach out to you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you can always email the high school too, and I would love to chat and, come on by to the meeting.
Sure. Or if somebody wants to donate to Travel Club, they can do that too. Right?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yes, of course. If there's anybody that would love to sponsor our students, that would be greatly appreciated. The more students we can get out there is going to be for the best. So
Great. Well, thanks for coming in today. Good luck.
yeah, thank you.
You bet. Craig Rogers joining us, Haley Rotheray, and Kiernan Culver on this portion of the morning show talking about RCHS Travel Club.